Hey everybody, welcome to our open office hours. Kind of an impromptu one. We are introducing PMPro version 3.5. It's been a long time coming, probably, I would say almost maybe 6 months to a year of
We had a little break in
between.
You're going to have some special guests are coming on with us later today, one of which was on a break for family things in the middle of this. So it was like a lot of work was done. And then there was this holding pattern, and now we're here and launching it all and excited about it.
It's very exciting. Yeah. It is pretty packed because we are going to go through the change log as it is written on the update post. I will put the link in the chat for that as well.
Yeah, bear with us. The release came out yesterday midday. The post is still written as our release candidate, but all of that is still accurate information, except for the fact that it's no longer in release candidate status. It's in release available status. You'll all see that update in your memberships, plugins area of WordPress where the update is available for you. So you can use that blog post as a guide. You can check back tomorrow. It'll be fully updated for the release of 3.5.
Yes, and documentation on everything that we're talking about today is coming later this week. This week, the first half of this week is very meeting heavy. And then Thursday and Friday, I will actually have time to do some writing and get those documentation updates out. So it'll be exciting. But to start, the first thing that we're talking about is Action Scheduler. And for that, we actually do have one of the developers, Dale, on our team. I'm going to bring him into the stage. There's Dale. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kim.
So Dale is newer to Team Paid Memberships Pro. You have not seen him on a live stream yet. Maybe we'll get him on more. We're going to see how he does today. And if he reports back, he's willing to join us again after today. But Dale, I don't know if Dale, you want to give us...
Dale actually just dropped accidentally.
No, that's okay. So Dale is a lead developer of special projects at Paid Memberships Pro. Maybe you've heard us mention that we're working on hosting for membership sites as an additional offering. So we can host optimized Paid Memberships Pro sites. So that's a special project. We have some other special projects related to services you guys need for your membership site, protecting downloadable content, protecting streaming video, email servers, all kinds of things that are all exploratory special projects right now. So that is what Dale is here to help with. I don't know if you want to give other backstory, Dale, of your experience with WordPress, your community experience, and other product stuff, just to say hello.
Yeah, sure. Long time in the WordPress world. I think I've used WordPress since 1.0. That dates me, but I started an agency a long time ago in a galaxy far away with Dwayne Story, who's an awesome guy. And then we kind of grew into a WordPress product company ourselves. We created WP Touch and WordTwit and a few other plugins and did that for a long time. And then we kind of hung up our boots on that around 2018. And since I've been working in kind of enterprise WordPress space, working with clients in the Fortune 500 and that kind of space. So getting to see WordPress used at scale and in many different ways and different flavors and gaining experience with all kinds of different tooling in WordPress. So I'm happy to bring that to the Paid Memberships Pro team. Just lots of experience in the WordPress space, and certainly for our customers using Paid Memberships Pro in all kinds of different ways and scenarios with WordPress, which is what makes WordPress so awesome. So I'm happy to join the team and looking forward to many awesome things we have planned.
Very cool. So like Sam said, Action Scheduler was a project that Dale spearheaded, had previous experience with, and immediately saw the value that it would bring to membership sites that are running Paid Memberships Pro. So I have a dev, you might have a dev open, Dale, too. Do you want to dig into what the Action Scheduler benefits are and kind of this secret thing that's now happening in your sites that's going to make them more performant?
Yeah, so to back up and to talk about experience, I've seen Action Scheduler working in many different ways to solve bottleneck issues on certain sites, and it's not necessarily a WordPress limitation per se. I guess to some degree it is, but it's kind of like PHP applications in general. But it's like we want to do a lot of heavy lifting, or we want to process a lot of things. How do we do that without significantly impacting the site's performance? We don't want to necessarily have to keep using all these other tools and offload those jobs to other tools that maybe have costs associated with them. Can we do this in-house? And to that effect, in Paid Memberships Pro, we were utilizing WP Cron to do this work, which is pretty common and it's been around a long time. But there's a couple of downsides to WP Cron, and there's a couple of upsides to Action Scheduler. And it's really about the best fit and use case. And in our case with Paid Memberships Pro, it really makes sense to use Action Scheduler, primarily because we want things to happen at approximate times, but we don't need them to happen exactly at this time, and this has to happen exactly now or everything is lost. So we're able to kind of schedule and queue up items, which is what Action Scheduler, to say like, hey, we want to run this every day. Here's a list of things to do, website, and work your way through this list of things to do. And spread that out a bit over time to reduce the impact and performance on the website as a whole. So Action Scheduler lets us do that. It also is resource aware. So it looks at your server environment and it tries to do its job without taking up too much of.
Oh no, too much of your
resources.
I could not guess what he was.
I'll fill in the blanks where needed. Yeah. So I equate this to like running an update on your computer. Let's say you're like downloading a file in the background of your computer and it kind of made your whole computer run slower. I think that's what WP Cron can do. It can say like, oh, like everyone browsing and using your website, their experience is slower now because of this thing that's also happening, and it's heavy and it's bulky. So what's great about Action Scheduler is it can still do those things in the background, but it's not as bulky because it queues things up. Like Dale said, it fails gracefully. So some of the use cases that you're going to see in Action Scheduler are like the expiration processes in Paid Memberships Pro. When that was run via the cron process, it would say, okay, it's 12 o'clock on January 1st, 12 a.m. on New Year's Day, expire everyone. And it would, if you had a very large membership site, let's say you had 5,000 people expiring on calendar year memberships, that would put an intense load on your server, trying to do 5,000 things in 1 millisecond of time. So Action Scheduler now says, okay, the average hosting environment can handle this many of these things on this time frame, and it'll do that batch. And then it'll say, do you have any more for me? Okay, yeah, you can do 50 more, do 50. Okay, do you have any more for me? Do 50 more. So it won't be a point in time heavy resource draw. It'll be a slowly spread out resource draw that's smartly handling based on the resources available in your server. So I don't know if you want to bring my screen up, Sam, where these are available here. So you're not going to really see much here, except that with Action Scheduler in Paid Memberships Pro, or if it's in other plugins that you use, you'll see I have some other plugins that have things added here. It's going to only load one version of the Action Scheduler library for your whole site. So other plugins that are smartly integrated with Action Scheduler like we all share the base logic of the class of Action Scheduler code. It's a project maintained by, I guess, WordPress contributors are maintaining it, a community project, an open source project. We have a link to it in our release post here. If you want to read more about the project, go ahead.
Dale is back, so I'm going to add him back to the stage.
Okay. I don't see him. There he is. Okay, cool. So I was just pulling up this pending screen here, Dale, just to show the available time frames that Action Scheduler in Paid Memberships Pro has available to it. Is he laughing? Oh,
poor Dale. Every time I add him,
we will have Dale back. Dale lives in a beautiful remote area in Canada and has, I think, Starlink internet, and it could be something at play here, or it could be something else entirely. Maybe his computer's running an update in the background. But these were formerly crons. We had these same crons, run it every hour, every day, every week, every month. Quarter hourly would be every 30 minutes, I guess. So what's cool is now we can tap into any one of these five time periods with any process we need to run in Paid Memberships Pro and defer all of those actions to the schedule. So you'll see this in core Paid Memberships Pro with our expirations, with our cancellations, I think I have some more of it outlined, kind of what's being used. It's processing expirations, payment reminders, and admin activity emails. So not processing cancellations yet, or unless this is incorrect. So a payment reminder is the email that is sent out 7 days prior or 30 days prior to, or is it always 7 days? Prior to when the next recurring payment is made. The admin activity email varies based on your settings in your site. So these are now deferred to these schedules. We also just released our extra expiration warnings add-on, which also will now work with Action Scheduler. So that's extra notifications of expirations rather than just like a 1 day prior. You can have one that on annual membership, let's say you want to send it out 90 days prior. You have 3 months to renew, 1 month to renew. Now those emails are also triggered by the Action Scheduler process in that background. I'll just show this scheduled actions is not a paid memberships pro screen. It's a shared screen by all plugins that might be active in your site that support Action Scheduler. So you'll see I have at one point in time used WooCommerce on this development site of mine. I've used Affiliate WP. So other trusted brands in WordPress are using the Action Scheduler. It's a very stable library. We have had some people raise concerns about the logs of Action Scheduler, like kind of filling up logs in your site and database tables. So we're keeping an eye on it. We're making sure that we're using it properly. We're cleaning ourselves up where we can. And if there's cases where the logs are getting filled up, it's either going to be something we fix in core or something in your server, some other plugin that's causing this issue. Support can usually help you find out where those are located and help you figure out what's the offending plugin causing these log issues. And if it's us, of course, we will fix it or give you some scripts. I know Dale already shared one in our Slack community to help people have an automatic process that cleans up the Action Scheduler logs. This is my dev site, so I don't have any, but you will actually see data about what has been run in the site and when it was last run, which is kind of cool. I know it will show this is happening again in 2 minutes or something like that, but my dev site doesn't have any processes running.
And speaking of the
Slack,
I do know Kim has a question, but
sorry.
There is going to be a release after party with a Google Meet link in the Slack community at 3:30 after this live stream. So if you want that exclusive invite, you're going to want to join the Slack channel, and it will be in the community channel in there. So that'll be fun for us to join. And then our other Kim on the team is wanting to know, is there still a need for WP Crontrol?
So maybe bring Dale back in for answering this one, and let's see what happens. Not for core paid memberships pro. Well, I guess there are still crons running in paid memberships pro. Not every cron is removed, or maybe they are.
Yeah, they are. There are no crons. Unless customers have added custom crons themselves, then the existing code that's there to support those crons or modified those previous crons, they'll keep running. So we didn't remove that. But by and large, everything else that we're doing on a cron basis is now action scheduled.
And I guess
so
I'm trying to think if our add-ons are still plugging in. We did update the extra expiration notices. There may be other add-ons that are leveraging cron functionality that will still hook into the core paid memberships pro crons. So I think slowly over time, they're all going to get evaporated.
Right.
Hey Bike Shark currently still has crons.
Okay.
A little birdie has told me.
Yeah, it's our expectation that we'll move them all to Action Scheduler because it makes sense to do so. And
oh my gosh.
And he's gone
again for a moment.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing the scheduled actions tab, we have noticed a conflict between, I think it's all-in-one SEO that is loading an older library. So it's a them, not us problem, but we'll still help you with it. So look at the other plugins that are running on your site. I'm going to pull up. Where was that conversation in our community today? Yeah, there is some conflict. The version of Action Scheduler that's run in your site, if you have another plugin that's loading an older version, they can cause a conflict. So we'll work those out as we can. It's not always something we can fix, but it's something we can give you instructions to send to the offending plugins developers and say, excuse me, you need to update to the latest library. The same would be true if you were using like WooCommerce with the all-in-one SEO. You're still going to see that conflict, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully those all just will iron out over time. But if you are in our Slack community, Old Schoolhouse Magazine, post in our dev channel if you're able to identify which conflicting plugin is causing that, and we'll be able to work it out for you. Cool. We'll see if there's anything else important to say about Action Scheduler at this time, but really you don't have to do anything with this screen. It'll be there in your site, but there's nothing that you need to look at or worry about with this. I do have an email logging plugin on this dev site. I use it on our live paid memberships pro site, which helps me just make sure that all of the transferred processes are functioning. So I know that a week ago, all of my payment failure emails were going out. I upgrade to 3.5. I can still see in my email log. Maybe you're using an SMTP plugin to log email sends. Just make sure that they're still sending in your site. That's the only thing I would say to do around this. Otherwise, it's just a graceful upgrade that has no actual like visual impact, but this under the hood powerful impact. So come that day when that massive number of people have to expire, it'll function and it won't crash in your site. So what people would formerly see is a number of people would expire on the end of the month, let's say, and then they'd be like, why do these people still have access? It's like, oh, like they weren't tackled in the first round because cron died. So now with Action Schedule, it'll just keep retrying over time. So yeah. Cool. All right. Should we move on to the next topic area? Oh, which email logging plugin is active on this
Which
site?
login?
I use the one that's not tested with my version of WordPress. This is always the one I use. I think, Kim White, you have one that you use that's different than this one. It has some better filtering and things like that. So we use this one. And then for the live pay memberships pro site, we send, or some of our sites, right? We send transactional email and get logs through this service called Brevo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. All right. That was the first feature. It only took us 15 minutes. So let's see. How many line items on this? No, we'll be fine. We're supposed to be here till 3 o'clock. All right. So here's a cool one. 3. We can bring another star on to talk about. Do you want to invite David in? Maybe.
Yes,
okay.
I will bring.
And I'll scroll to this section of the release post. Hi, this is David. Also, he's been on live streams before, but for a recap, David is the lead developer of Paid Memberships Pro of the core plugin, entering your 6th year with us. Is that correct?
I think I'm entering my 7th, actually.
Is it the 7th?
Oh, yeah.
I'll see myself out.
No.
Yeah, so been here for a long time, completely spearheading, leading the direction of managing the code base of the core platform, many of the add-ons as well, most of the add-ons as well. So very important guy, knows everything in and out of the platform, and did most of the work on this next feature we're going to talk about, the groundwork for restricted files. So many of you, I don't want to steal. Do you want to talk about this, David? I'll just...
If you want to give an intro, you're more than welcome to.
Sure. So file restriction in Paid Memberships Pro is something that you formerly had to enable via a specific script that you would tell Paid Memberships Pro to start loading, and then potentially some rules in like an htaccess file of your site to tell your server to not let people access certain protected files unless they met certain criteria for accessing them. So this is going to be coming into core Paid Memberships Pro. Maybe you're using a plugin like Download Manager, or you're using Easy Digital Downloads. They already have their own versions of file restrictions. So you can't just go to an image on the web server and share that URL, and that URL is visible to anyone. Now those are masked URLs, and the files are only available if the permissions of those files, the membership levels associated with that content, or the WordPress user capabilities of the logged in user accessing it are met. So the groundwork is there, and David can talk about how we're using the groundwork right now and where we expect to take it next.
Yeah, definitely. So basically what we built is just a really flexible system where files can be added to the WP content folder in a restricted kind of subdirectory. And from there, we can either restrict files by, say, whether you're an administrator, whether you're logged in, whether you have a membership level, or really by any restriction that you can check with PHP. So currently, as a proof of concept, what we are restricting are the gateway log files. So for Stripe, the webhook debug log, and for PayPal, the IPN log. And previously, these were logs that were just kind of put into the Paid Memberships Pro plugin directory. And if you knew the URL, you could access them. Anybody could access them. It was relatively insecure. But now we're putting it in this restricted folder so that only users who are administrators can access it directly. So huge security bump for Stripe and PayPal Express and all of our gateways. And so down the line, the goals here are kind of the most obvious one that we're looking into is a PMPro downloads add-on where you could upload files and set level restrictions on it. So that's something that we plan on working on in the next year or so, likely. And then there's other use cases like restricting uploaded user field content. So if somebody uploads a file field, especially for websites that have to do with medical records or anything like that, sensitive information, being able to restrict that content or restrict those files and ensure that they can only be viewed by the people who are intended to view them. So this is really setting us up for a lot of different capabilities for our product, and also enhanced security across PMPro, and all of its add-ons can also use this as well.
So it's great to see that in the future, maybe you were using Download Manager or some other files downloads thing. Maybe you thought you needed to use WooCommerce for protected downloads, and hopefully you're going to be able to strip those things away and then begin leveraging native Paid Memberships Pro download file security for like user-facing, member-facing files. But right now, internally, when you upgrade to 3.5 on the settings security screen, your site will create a folder with a unique hash. So this is my dev site. This is the folder, and it will store specifically those log files that David said. And unless you are logged in as a user with administrator role on the site, you won't be able to access the URL of the file put into that folder. You can still access it via SSH. So if it's as secure as your SSH password to log into your site and download files at the web server location. But here, served via your domain name, via the web, a URL on the internet, those files will be blocked from download unless you're logged in as a user and you access it via a very unique URL. So we're going to be updating documentation. This section of our security documentation will be updated to show you how to build the URL to access those log files. David, I don't think there's a cleanup script. If you have log files, it won't move them. Is that correct?
It will not move them. However, since the log files are stored in Paid Memberships Pro, whenever you update the plugin, they get wiped anyway. So
that's true. Okay. You'll update, the files will get wiped, and now they're going to be in the right place. So you don't have to make any changes. If you've defined the constants in your WP config file to store a Stripe debug or PayPal Stripe webhook debugging information to a log file, or your PayPal IPN debugging information to a log file, the newly created file after 3.5 updates will begin storing it at this secure location. So it's really cool. There is a section here. I'm using a local WP. So there's two kinds of server environments that we look at here. One is called an Nginx server and one's an Apache server. So Apache servers make it more easy for our plugin to automatically put these rules in place. So if you're on an Apache server, like our PMPro hosting will be, or our site, which is DigitalOcean, our Paid Memberships Pro site, you don't have to do any additional work. If you are using an Nginx server, like this local WP Engine is an Nginx server, you're going to see a rule in your security settings. This rule can be sent to your host, or if you know how to edit your Nginx config file, it's like something.conf or something. I was reading all about this the other day. You'll need to add this rule to that file so that the restricted files logic can function. So it'll be a one-time thing just to copy and get this into the server's config file. Ask your web host to do it if it feels like something beyond your experience, or you just want a second set of eyes on that step.
Gavin did have a question. So I won't need to use a separate download link. Will it connect to Amazon S3, etc.?
So currently this is only restricting files that are hosted on the site server. So we're not really connecting with external services. And then the download links for those files, basically through the URL, you pass two URL attributes. One to specify like the subfolder. So for example, there's gonna be a logs folder, and then the second attribute to specify the file name. But to answer your question, it's only the files that are hosted in the specific WP content PMPro restricted folder.
Yeah, I can see in the future for sure we would defer and have the URLs would still look like URLs of your site, but it would pull the resource from somewhere else. It's something we do with our own sites for downloading add-ons. So on our site, if you go to like a single add-ons page, let's find one. We have our add-ons stored on a separate server, but like the add-on links, I'll copy the link address. I'll paste it here. If you can you see that URL?
Yes.
It looks like it's loading it from our site, but there's logic to actually grab the file from somewhere else with some appended logic. So I could certainly see in the future that kind of like masked URL thing. I know if Dale was in, he would probably be talking about how that functionality is kind of in place for our videos, exploratory work for video hosting. So something very similar could work to attach a external file service to like these authenticated masked URLs within the membership site. So possible over time, but right now it's all just what's in the WordPress environments, web folders. So yeah, there's a filter in place. I don't know that we'll have any snippets quite yet for leveraging. Do you see any, David, coming that we'll write up as tooltips for people that want to do early adoption?
Yeah, so it's basically just one filter that basically determines whether any given file should be restricted or not. And currently, if somebody needed like a snippet right now, it's what we have in the core plugin for restricting log files.
Okay.
And so in the meantime, if people wanted to restrict different kind of content, it's one filter, relatively straightforward. We can definitely make a tooltip around that, no problem.
So if I uploaded a file directly via SSH to my custom folder here, there'd be a way for me to write a snippet to say like, don't let people access this PDF unless they're level 1. And it would let me build like custom URLs.
So you need to put like a directory in the PMPro folder and then your restricted file inside that.
Cool.
But yes.
Yeah, maybe we'll snippet that because there's no like, we don't roadmap and we don't have timelines for things. So knowing when your downloads add-on would be available is just very unsure right now. But for people that want to adopt it early and set that folder up in their site and get some file protection native, maybe you only have like 15 files, and you want to put them in that folder, and simple logic in a filter could get you there. There'll probably be another tooltip in addition. The get file script still exists also, David. So the legacy ways to restrict files are still present in Paid Memberships Pro. Yes. Cool.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Maybe we'll come back to the Bricks Builder one because I have to install Bricks Builder. Do you want to talk about payments while you're here, David? And then we can let you go about your merry way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds fun. Okay.
So the first enhancement there, or the second enhancement, I guess, is the payments settings page got a UI update. So previously there was a drop down for the gateway select, and based on the gateway that was set, the different connection options, and like for API keys, dynamically swapped out. So for cases like PayPal Express, where like the add PayPal Express add-on, where you're using multiple payment gateways, it was kind of a hassle to switch to one gateway, update the API keys, and switch back to your main gateway. And so the current solution is instead having all the gateways in a table and allowing you to edit the settings per gateway, and each settings page loads on its own page. So the quick win here is when you have multiple gateways at checkout using the add-on. And the long-term vision for this page is eventually being able to allow multiple gateways to be active at once without the need for an add-on. So this has immediate benefits, but we're also setting up long-term for a more robust payment settings page and more options at checkout.
So you'll still have a default gateway, which is the primary checkout experience offered through your site. If you are using Add PayPal Express, you'll be able to manage those settings separately. So you'll be able to edit settings for each gateway that's enabled. We did also make it more clear that deprecated gateways are not supported, even if they're enabled in the site. So scary notices, but it just tries to explain a bit more what's going on and link you to some documentation about why a payment gateway is currently deprecated, and just clarify some things, because I think people were unsure what that meant to be. The only reason I'm seeing that is because I have some legacy keys stored in my database, but I didn't want to be able to show you that. So you'll still use this global settings box to set your primary gateway and the environment you're being used for that gateway. And then you'll set up the payment gateway settings individually here. So for Stripe, you can connect both a live and a test connection, and then toggle that setting from the payment settings screen. And then for PayPal Express, we don't have separate settings based on dev or testing environment and live environment. So you might still be juggling keys just during testing, putting on your testing gateway sandbox information. And then when you're ready to go live, switch those settings to the live PayPal Express connection in that box. And then under here, we have like just other settings. They always existed, just changing your site's currency. And we moved, well, that was an earlier update that we removed SSL from this section. Yeah. What else is there to say about payments? Sorry for my voice, guys. I was at a Beyonce concert last night and I was singing like crazy. I didn't mention that at the start.
So much fun.
I went to bed at 2:30 after the Beyonce concert, singing like crazy. So yeah.
I think we've
Perfect.
solved the streaming issue for me. I think it was the hardware acceleration setting in Chrome, and thanks to ChatGPT, it gave me some debugging, and I'm
Nice.
still here. I
Yay.
think that's
We
it.
love good old Chippy.
Chippy.
We love Chippy. Chippy helped. Nice. All right, let me
Clippy.
go back to this. I want to
Yeah.
talk about the Stripe fees and connecting and restricted keys briefly. Is there anything else just around payment settings we want to touch on here?
I think that's it other than the Stripe. Yeah.
Okay. So Stripe offers this connect method, which routes your information between the Stranger Studios Stripe Connect server, connects you to your Stripe account, either in live or test mode. And PayMerchants Pro charges a processing fee, an application fee. You pay that fee to Stripe, and then Stripe pays the fee to us. And that is a fee that's present if you don't have a membership or an active paid license in your site and are connected via Stripe Connect. So 3.5 slightly changes how our requirements around this fee to make it more clear to people that there is a relationship in place. The direction of Stripe Connect is an interesting one to watch because it's kind of asking us as a company to be more involved with your payments. I don't know where it's going to go, but for that reason, I think this version changes the logic to say, unless you have a paid license active in your site, and if you are using our Connect server to connect and authenticate with Stripe, that fee will be present. Formerly, we offered a filter to disable and change the amount of the fee. We are deprecating that filter, and there are other ways to get around that fee if you are so inclined to do so. We have documented in the release post. The wording here is written in a real specific way, so I'll just pull that up and you can look at it yourself. But if you have, we're formerly using this filter to set the fee to 0. It'll still work, but it is going to give you a deprecation notice. So if you are seeing that deprecation notice, our recommendation to continue using Stripe with no fee are to switch to using restricted API keys to authenticate your site or activate your PMPro license. So there's still ways to do things the way that you were. It's just that the filter will no longer be supported. Deprecated in 3.5 and in 4.0 will be completely removed is our plan. That's our backwards compat breaking next release. Right, David?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So under your Stripe gateway settings, you would just be here. I'm in test mode anyway, so there's no fees. But if I was connected in live, I would be able to switch to connecting via my publishable key and restricted key. And then that site's connected directly through keys, incur a 0% fee. So that's like the doesn't sound great option. But here's the thing that does sound great. And David, do you want to explain the subscription updates for people who begin authenticating with a premium license?
Yeah, absolutely. So before this update, basically the fee that was in place when a user checked out for subscription is the fee that they would always, the application fee that would always be charged. So if a user checked out on your website and they were paying and the application fee was set at 2%, that 2% would stay forever, regardless of if you later added a PMPro license. In this new update, we basically add a check before every recurring payment is made to update the fee on the subscription. So in the case where a subscription was at 2%, if you then added a license before the next recurring payment, the fee would drop down to 0. So by adding a PMPro license, you're then updating all of your previous subscriptions to not have an application fee. With that being said, the reverse is also true, where if you remove your license from your website, all the subscriptions would then be updated to the standard 2% for recurring transactions.
Yeah. So there are probably questions about this. I imagine it's going to create a lot of confusion, and we're trying to be as transparent, as open and as possible, which is our core value. So post in our Slack community, preferably send us an email in your contact form, because it'll help us understand your history with us and just look you up and identify who you are, and give you the correct answer for your specific site and information. So the release notes post has information about it. Our Stripe documentation has information about it. Our license, our information about a premium license on our site has information about it. So if anything about that doesn't feel clear, we're going to, contact us. We'll reply to you, and then we'll always be reevaluating to make sure that the documentation is very clear about where the fees incurred, who's the fee paid to, and what you would do if you wanted to make the fee 0%, and the implications of deactivating a premium license in your site. So,
and you can always add the restricted API keys to avoid the fee entirely. That's always an option.
Yeah. And I will add, I think it's important to clarify that the Stripe Connect is the way that your site is connecting to Stripe within PMPro Pro. It is not whether your checkout is on site or off site. That was like a big question internally that the sales team had when we were talking about the Stripe fees and handling these questions that we're going to end up having. And so that was a big distinction that we had to answer for ourselves. So I'd imagine if we had the question, you guys would have the question. So it's simply how it talks from your site to Stripe, and not whether or not the front end checkout is on your site or on Stripe.
Yeah. Payment gateways are the single largest development effort in our platform. The work that goes into maintaining them, the work that goes into making sure that we're leveraging the latest versions of their preferred way to integrate and giving you the most freedom, like the latest Stripe API versions that give you the Apple Pay, that give you all of the Stripe international payment methods, all of those things. So it's not a small effort for us as an open source platform to maintain all of those integrations. It's also the reason that some of our payment gateways get deprecated, because the gateways themselves don't keep up with the latest standards and trends. So you have so much freedom with Stripe to have all these payment methods. The same isn't true if you're using unauthorized.net or a Braintree, which are now deprecated. They're just not staying up to date because they have a certain customer that fits them, and it's US based, and they're only using credit cards, and it's kind of a simpler infrastructure. So we have to make these trade-offs where we say, are we going to support a tiny version of what Stripe can do, and just authorized.net can only do these limited things? And then a lot of our documentation will say, you can do this if you're using Stripe. Oh, I'm sorry, you're using authorized.net. You can't. So we have to decide. And it's a really crucial place. We're internally conflicted about this right now too. Deciding which payment gateways make sense long-term for Paid Memberships Pro, which ones make sense to deprecate because we don't see them staying modern and being as flexible for our international user base as certain payment gateways really are, and meeting our users' needs where they're at. There's a lot of payment gateways that are offered in one country only, and our user base in that area is so small for us to take on the effort the hundreds of thousands of dollars to put into the development and maintenance of an individual gateway is just a huge challenge. So, I got first place moved in my position. Look, I was on my soapbox, but
my camera like went all dark and weird. I don't know.
No worries. So I don't know, David, you can speak to some things that are coming. We were talking internally about how much we can and shouldn't share, but we're very open. So I don't know. We were like waiting for Jason to say what we could and not say. Maybe he did or didn't, and maybe I can just do what I want.
Yeah, so the stuff that's kind of coming down the pipeline pretty quickly are we're expecting to be able to allow multiple gateways to be active at checkout. So being able to have both Stripe and PayPal without an additional add-on, something that we're actively pursuing. Also having like a multi-step checkout where the payment step is separated from the rest of the checkout page. This is necessary for a lot of payment gateways that like to embed their payment fields directly on the in the checkout form using JavaScript. And usually when that happens, it's necessary to know the final checkout amount. So it's like separating out the payment step helps with payment gateways, and also a common request is just being able to show customers the final price at checkout before they click that pay button. And so a multi-step checkout process would allow us to do that as well.
Yeah, we were always like historically very proud of our single page checkout, but it's also becoming something we can't use as much with different payment environments because or different checkout setups. So if you're using like a sponsored or group accounts add-on and adjusting the price based on fields at checkout, if you're allowing donations to be accepted, the price is constantly changing based on how the customer is interacting with your checkout form. And the payment gateway really wants to know, the user really wants to know, what am I actually being billed at the end of the day? It's also important for the future of whatever tax handling we develop. If we do tax handling in-house or other tax handling services that we've looked at in the past, they really want to know a final price also where nothing else can be modified, right? You'll see this like on your Amazon checkout, you have a cart view. And then once you begin the checkout experience, editing the cart is not something you really can do anymore without returning to that cart environment. So we're not going to add a shopping cart, but multi-step will separate all of those additional options and then get us to a place where the final checkout experience is just payment.
Yeah, so we're taking one step in that direction at a time. Those are, enhancements that we expect to be out sometime, like maybe 4.0, who knows? And then we're also playing a lot of what if PMPro did this or that. So what if PMPro separated line items? What if PMPro handled subscriptions natively? What if PMPro relied more heavily on Stripe? So there's just a bunch of different directions that we're talking about internally to try to see what the best feature is for PMPro and all of our customers.
Yeah. The line items thing is cool because a lot of you want to sell things that aren't membership. You want to sell a single download. You want to sell a coaching hour. And right now, PayMemberships Pro is like, we'll make it a membership level. And while that does work and it works very well, we do it on our own site to sell courses a la carte. The checkout experience needs to be slightly different when you're buying a single thing that isn't technically a membership or when you're giving a gift. So I don't know, this is our 10 years of work to do. And we can talk about it really quickly in 5 minutes and wave flashy roadmaps around. But the reality of it is it has to be very slow and strategic because we have a huge user base to protect their businesses for and make sure that it's constantly being iterated in a way that protects those businesses and that people are responding positively to. So all challenging, good stuff. And we have the best brains in this room to do it and in our Slack. Everyone's the best brain.
Justin has a question. Down the line, will multi-step checkout allow multi-step custom fields? Also, can users pay multiple years upfront?
So the primary motivation for having a multi-step checkout, like the first thing that we want to accomplish is being able to separate out the payment step, just because that increases the stability of checkout and payment gateways so much. And then like after that, we could also consider having like a separate registration step at the beginning of the checkout, then the level selections, and then the payment. So the primary motivation is the payment gateway step separated, but I can definitely see us down the road having, being able to customize steps. That's something we've talked about a lot in the past. It's one of the things that's easier said than done, but it's something on our minds.
For multiple year payment upfront, I would suggest looking at our payment plans add-on, which creates different pricing structures for a single level. So you have a membership level called, Plus. You could have a payment plan for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, each with independent pricing and independent expiration. So check that add-on out. That is possible now.
I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you.
There are limitations to upfront payments with a recurring subscription on the end. So I know Stripe won't allow you to set up a subscription 2 years in the future. Is that correct, David? So you can't have like a 2-year recurring memberships, but this would be ideal for upfront fixed term periods, prepaid.
Yeah, every gateway has their limitations,
And they're all
unfortunately.
different.
Yep.
We
that's
need
the
like a
truth.
gateway symposium, like the UN of gateways. That's what we need.
We try with the one blog post that we have about comparing gateways, but there's so much to compare around every single gateway. It's just impossible.
Yes. So yeah, exciting stuff. Payments are the most important, the most critical, the most stressful, everything. But it's good. That's our thing, is to help you guys get paid. So if we weren't as concerned about this as we are, you'd be using the wrong platform for sure. Or our mission wouldn't align with our actual doing. So we don't want to be those people. Cool. Dale is here and ready to talk about the dashboard. How does that sound,
And
Dale?
he's been stable for a while. So
He's been
I've
stable.
been
We trust.
stable.
It's good that he was
Yeah.
sitting here. We got to validate. This is our
Yeah.
unit test for Dale.
Chrome. Yeah. I thought it would be fancy turning on this hardware acceleration feature. Turns out it's not ready for prime time. So don't turn that on in your Chrome browser, everyone. Dashboard. Yeah. So Kim and I did a lot of pie in the sky thinking, a lot of try to first principles, just look at the dashboard freshly. And really our goal was, hey, we want to make this more useful. And there's kind of two ways that it can be more useful. One is if you're newer to Paid Memberships Pro, and then another is if you've been around a while and you just want to show stuff that is important to you. So to that end, we've added setup guide here at the start with the YouTube video there, and you can of course click below and follow the setup guide in docs. So just a lot more information if you're just getting going on what you should work towards. We have the initial setup list of items there, which is really helpful. So you can kind of see where you are. And we have ideas about expanding this as well in terms of more tasks and things that we could try to help you through that are just important when you're getting up and going. And then off to the side, you'll see use case courses. Well, what's that about? Well, there are multiple different use cases with Paid Memberships Pro. We find that most customers fall into these different camps. And so we're going to try to provide more information that is more suited to your particular use case of Paid Memberships Pro. Basically personalize it and kind of make Paid Memberships Pro a little more contextual in terms of what you see and what you can do out of the box with your PMPro installation. As well, all these boxes that you see, they're all drag and droppable, and it's all accessible as well. So if you're just using a keyboard to move things around, you can do that as well. So it's all drag and droppable, and this is kind of one main step that we have towards more customization in the dashboard, being able to show and hide these information boxes that are important to you. And then as well, adding some new ones, having add-ons be able to add important things in here, things like PMPro hosting. So we're just basically expanding the capability of the dashboard and making it far more customizable so that you can surface things that are important to you. I think one of the great additions was quick links there, and the ability to kind of surface important tasks that you probably regularly do. And so internally, we talked as a team about what we should put here. But if you have ideas or suggestions about what you'd like in quick links, and then potentially we can even make it customizable so that you can control and surface, like, what are these tasks that you need to get to really quickly? And in particular, we're looking at things that normally you have to click this button and maybe click another menu and dig down and scroll down here. So how can we surface these things to just make them more accessible to you?
Yeah, I put a valid license on this site just so you could see if you are validated, you have shortcut links to your account on our site and supports the support areas. These reports are all the same that they existed. They got a slight facelift. They're a little more easy on the eye, the quick links to the more detailed reports. And then we kind of moved down in priority. These were up top, but more ways to get involved, connect with us, get news, and view our upcoming events. So available on your dashboard, but more minimized at the bottom there, the ways to connect. If you don't see a box here, you might see a generic message like set your use case. That can be managed from the settings advanced screen. So if you go here to settings advanced, you'll see a drop down, which you probably can't see when I click on it, but you can switch the use case of your site to change that information contextually on the dashboard. And like Dale said, more coming with that later. Of how it's going to help you create.
Yes,
just guide you a bit through. Go ahead.
I strongly encourage if you don't have this set to try and pick one, or if your use case doesn't fit in here, let us know what your use case is. But I strongly encourage it because we'd like to bring more customization that's specific to the use case of your membership site. So if that's set, then we're going to be able to add these customizations, and you'll see these things roll out for you as in your use case over time if that's set.
Yeah, and the old Schoolhouse magazine actually just commented, a quick way to get to levels would be nice, and the user fields. So being able to eventually add your own quick links would be nice.
Great.
And that was actually something that I was going to jump in and say of if you have suggestions of what you want to see customizable for these quick links, because the idea floating around is that you can select which quick links you get to see on your membership dashboard that you actually will use the most. Right now, this was a combination of Kim and I's brains and Dale's brains of what actually is useful for people to start off with as just a base template. And as we get ideas and know what you want, we can add those quick links in.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Lots of ideas for this. I don't know of too many WordPress plugins that give you a customizable dashboard. If you're using one too, let us know which one. But most of the time, it's the marketing material they're trying to shove on your face and their sales and stuff. We're trying to be very particular about still showing you ways to get involved, because I think as much as we are a product that you buy, you don't just run away and build with it in your whole. Like, the more enriched relationship we can create with you, the more support we can give you in business building. I recently looked at free user signups from 90 days ago, and a large percentage of them had like a basic WordPress install and hadn't started really like creating content in their site or building their site out. And it gets me really thinking how much more we could help you when you have that spark of an idea. Find a membership platform you feel like is going to be a great partner for you, and just keep the momentum going with the process. Because if you're DIYing, maybe this is an after hours thing from your day job. Maybe you have a commitment at home and you try to squeeze in work and weekend time, or you're a volunteer running something for your club or association you're involved in, not getting paid for it, and just a one-person show, doing it all yourself. So the more that we can connect and support the challenges you're facing, we want to do that because it is our mission. Yeah, cool dashboard.
I think one of the things we talked about as well in terms of bringing as a new feature of dashboard would be something like tips, and maybe Kim and I were talking about kind of like tips and then almost like a mini wizard. But the idea is like, where could we be helpful? How can we help you through doing something that maybe you don't know that PMPro can do for you? Or maybe you didn't realize that with this combination of settings, right, you can accomplish this on your site. And just learning about, some of these features and capabilities in PMPro, even if you're not using them right now, or maybe you want to get to that point where you use those features, knowing that they're there and having these tips and tools available right in the dashboard, I think will be very helpful. But we definitely want to hear from customers. This is a great opportunity going, I really wish the dashboard would do X. I really wish I could have this feature or capability on my dashboard. So just getting you thinking about, how we could be helpful to you is a big part of this as well. We can try to design around what we know and the information that we've collected and how we use it ourselves. But it's always great to get that feedback from customers to say, hey, this would be great for me, because sometimes what's great for you might actually be great for almost everybody, right? So these ideas are worth listening to. So please send them our way.
Yeah, definitely. When we brought in the design panel and the security settings panels, I thought to myself, how will people know these exist? In if their site is already set up, they're not spending a lot of time in settings.
Right.
Like really, the one that you might be spending time in is discount codes. But otherwise, there's very little reason for an established site to return to settings, in my opinion. I've established site. I don't go to these too often either, except the discount codes panel. So this could be something like that. A mini wizard, a thing like this, what's new, check this setting. Do you want to enable any of these features in your site? Because we don't always turn things on when they're added in Pay Memberships Pro. Sometimes we just have to decide if this is a new feature that everybody gets enabled by default. Is this a new feature that people have to opt into and enable manually in their site? And I don't know how many times it takes us to tell someone that a setting's available to them, but I think we could always do more. It would always help us to break through the noise of certain dashboards in WordPress, especially. The design settings is another one that I felt it existed and people didn't realize they could change the colors of the boxes that Pay Memberships Pro creates in version 3.1. And it's fine to leave the defaults too, but if that tip came up to you and you were like, oh my gosh, my whole site's red, well, that's terrible. How about another color than red? Like dark purple, you could adjust that there. Don't go red. I don't think you should do that. It just came to mind because it's a bright color. It's not blue. Nice.
We do already have some suggestions in the comments, so I will be taking notes of those and pocketing them away for our development team.
Yeah. All of the quick links that show are also aware of the capabilities of the user. So if you're using the Membership Manager add-on, or if you've created a role with custom capabilities that say, like, you can do these things, but you can't view reports or edit levels or add members, but you can create discount codes. The quick links on the dashboard currently are sensitive to those capabilities and only show the ones that the user viewing that page has access to do. Cool stuff. Let me look at this. What else is useful?
Do we want to just talk about the wizard now and go out of order?
Yeah, let's go through the wizard.
So not a huge change, but more of a quality of life change. When you, well, I guess that it's in the changelog there as well, that we switched the information to opt out versus opt in, and this is just for the plugin data usage. So our main idea here is, we use this usage information to try to design these features and solutions, many of which we're talking about here, and we're asking for customer feedback. Well, not everybody has the time or ability to share that feedback with us. So we're able to have a look at what settings you have on, and what's in use or not in use, and how are these settings used together, so that we can make intelligent decisions internally and say, well, actually, people are using this quite a bit, so we should give it some more love, that kind of thing. So, we felt that it would be good to have a little bit more of that information. And so we've made this change, but this does not affect anybody with existing paid memberships. We're not changing that setting on you. It's just simply for new customers, or if you're trying Paid Memberships Pro for the first time, we're asking for that information. So that's one small change there. And then a bigger one, but it's a quality of life one, is installing the update manager. So you can now install it directly in this flow. You don't have to install it separately. And this is kind of the first step of just to kind of roadmap. We're going to look at more enhancements for add-ons, and just in terms of management, both under the hood, and then giving you a few more tools for add-on installation and management. So this is one piece of that where we could streamline it and make it available for ourselves to just install this update manager right here without without having to go and download a zip and install it or click a button somewhere else, that you can take care of it right here in the wizard.
And the update manager, if you don't have it installed yet, highly recommend go install and activate it. It is a plugin that runs separate of Paid Memberships Pro. So if you ever needed to deactivate Paid Memberships Pro for some reason in the site, or you were updating it and something failed, the update manager is your backup plan that will facilitate downloading the latest versions of add-ons and core Paid Memberships Pro from our licensed servers. A lot of the plugins you might be using, you got off the WordPress.org plugins repository. We don't host our plugins there. They're hosted through our own licensing server. So the update manager mirrors the code for managing updates and plugin installations that is in core Paid Memberships Pro in this dedicated add-on, so that you can deactivate Paid Memberships Pro and run other updates while Paid Memberships Pro is inactive, or if it becomes inactive during an update, which can also happen in the site. So it's kind of this fail-safe ability to keep your site up to date.
I did drop the download link for anybody who does need to grab the zip file for the update manager, but can you also find that in the add-ons section in
Yes.
Yeah, if you
Memberships
choose
Pro?
no, so if you choose no in the wizard, and then it will still tell you about Update Manager, and it's still available here in add-ons. So it's really just to speed things up, that if you are installing it through the wizard, then it's already there for you. It's already ready to go. But if you don't do that in the wizard, it's the typical flow. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. I'm thinking we're through the biggest updates. The Elementor stuff I'll talk about. I'll talk about Bricks Builder. That's not cool. Dale, anything you want to talk about, or do you want to just stay and hang with us? You're welcome to do either.
Well, now I'm
I'm going to be
excited
changelog
to go
Kim
and
now.
work on more things for
Okay.
PMPro. All those things David promised. No, just kidding. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, had a blast. I'm glad I could sort out the technical difficulties, and you guys can carry on.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good afternoon. Maybe you'll be in our launch party.
Yeah, maybe.
Can I save the
There
page
is,
builder demos for the last?
For last, yeah, we can do that. For anybody who is either just now joining or missed when we were first opening, there will be a release after party via Google Meet exclusive to our Slack community members. So if you are not in our Slack community, I strongly recommend you join it, especially so you can come party with us. That would be nice. I will post a link for our Slack community in the chat. And yeah, okay, so Kim, what's next on the list?
All right, I will go from the top. So we got our action scheduler, restricted files. We're going to talk about Bricks and Elementor at the end, dashboard, payments page. Okay. This is a cool one. So that's our real site. Let's not search our real site. Let's search my site. Okay, cool. So this exists on the members list, and I'll demo how this works. Here, we'll do it like this. So I'm on my members list. I have all these users. What if I just wanted to find all users or a specific user by email address? I think it's email, but it might be, is it email address? Let's try this. The members list supports searching by a key value pair or property and a value pair. So the property : the value of the property you're searching for. So it's just a way to zero in if you were just looking for a specific user meta field, a specific user field that you wanted to search against and find all people with that unique value. You could also do it by like domain extension. So you're trying to find all people with an email address at paidmembershipspro.com. You can use email : that property at the end of it. So that has always been on the members list. We've brought that functionality now to the orders list. So the same is true. I think it's almost any property, but let's say all orders for people with email at domain.com would search them up. The same would be true like a specific, I don't think this site has recurring subscriptions. So I don't really have like IDs to base things on. But if you had order meta that you wanted to search against, if you wanted to search against a subscription ID to bring up all the orders, there's other ways to do that. But that would be Isn't there a way to view orders with a certain subscription, like from the, here, view one order. You search by like the subscription ID. So the same would be true here. So we'll be updating our documentation on our orders list table with what are some common and popular properties to search against. But it is just a shortcut way. Sometimes orders, we have so many orders. I know our site has like hundreds of thousands of orders, and the data can be really hard to search because it's trying to search everywhere for everything that matches that term. So if you know that the value you're searching is a subscription ID, is a transaction ID, is an email address of a user's order, it'll be a lot faster to search that because it just narrows the field of what the search is looking for to a specific column of data. So expect updates to the documentation on the orders list to help you understand better how that might be useful for you. And it's a cool thing. Sometimes you can build a bookmark somewhere if you're like, I'm always searching everyone with email address paid memberships pro and want to pull up their orders in aggregate. You can bookmark those unique links. But yeah, it'll probably be fairly simple documentation, Sam, because we'll just be copying what we say about on the members list for it. But I think if we look under the hood, there's going to be some cool things to update surrounding that. So that's that enhancement. This is something that came out. I brought up the documentation from actually version 2.10, where we started detecting the primary URL of your membership site. This was to protect people that would launch a staging site and then say like, oh, we'll delete everyone. We don't need these people in the staging site. And inadvertently had a connected gateway that canceled subscriptions in the site. So protecting your site, having a primary URL in the database, and if that changes and doesn't match what the actual site address WordPress thinks it's at, if you had paidmentorshipspro.com and now the site's saying it's staging.paidmentorshipspro.com, the membership plugin's going to say, hold your horses. I'm not going to do anything anymore. This doesn't look great. So let's make sure that we protect you and you don't start canceling members and things and sending emails and doing things we shouldn't do. So version 3.5 slightly adjusted how the URL was encoded to catch more unique cases of that last known URL. There's a rare chance, David told us, and he's not here anymore, where you might see a warning about it. If everything looks right to you, you can just click a button and update the primary domain. So if it looks like almost exactly the same, it just could be an encoding thing, like it stored the colon as a HTML entity instead of a colon. If you feel like you're actually on your primary site, there's no changes that you can detect, you would just click the update my primary domain and reactivate all services button. So there's a chance you'll see that in rare cases, but most of the time it's just going to be resolved on update. And if you're seeing that notice, you should probably look closely at what you just did and if you're on the right site or not. All right, this was mostly for future-proof for something, but it's letting you link to a filtered result. And I wonder what it is. Let's see. Add-ons. Is it S? Let's try S. Okay. So I'm just trying to refresh my brain. I think I coded this, but it was a long time ago. This is building into the URL structure, searching for a specific add-on or a specific category of add-ons, like add-ons that are built for sites that are associations. So if I search association as the tag, I get a list of add-ons that we've pre-categorized to say these are commonly used by associations. They like to collect a mailing address. They want a directory. They run events. They accept donations. You can see why these are all association-focused add-ons. This is not in use yet in the wizard, I don't think. Maybe it is. Let's see.
If you select it, it'll pop up a couple of the add-on recommendations based on your use case.
In the wizard?
Mm-hmm.
You mean? Yeah. So here I am. I'm an association site. These are the recommended add-ons. I can link to view all available add-ons. Eventually, you might see a link in here that says view all recommended add-ons for your use case, or that dashboard that we're continuing to customize may have links to the filtered views as well. That's a common question we get, like, how should I be building this site? That's what our association use case hub tries to do, is to give you all of the recommendations and tools you should use to piece it all together. But we'll be bringing that more into the admin over time. But it is also helpful now that we can link to like a specific one. If other places in the site want to recommend that you need an approval process, we can link to a filtered view so it's quicker for you to locate, install, and activate a specific add-on by name. So another kind of under the hood thing that lays some groundwork for the future.
There's also ideas to sort the add-ons on our site that way as well. So you can,
Okay.
right now, right on our site, you can filter by category, but I think we also have them
They are tagged.
behind the scenes. They are either tagged or some other taxonomy that does have them by use case. It's just not quite on the front end yet. So
Is this it? I'm guessing. Yeah. There is a way to get to that.
There is a way to get there.
Filtered
It's just
view.
not like a clickable button right now.
Yeah.
To get to there, you kind of have to
neat.
know the URL.
All right. This is our PMPro member shortcode. So I can pull up the documentation on this or just show an example. This is a way to create a personalized experience within the content of your site or to build a custom dashboard. We had a great open office hours in Q1, I want to say, about building
Sounds about right.
a dashboard page, like a really robust account page, a really robust member dashboard. And in that, I did use our PMPro member shortcode a lot. Let me see if I have anything on here. Yeah. All right. So I do have a header here. I'll just show this. Nova is my dog. That is Nova Coleman. I'm logged in as Nova right now, editing my site. And Sam, I don't know if you're finding the dashboard video or possibly the PMPro member shortcode information. 3.5, you can now include level meta for that. So not something a lot of sites are using. We're using it on our site, which is interesting. Which was kind of, sometimes we're like, hey, we need this. Do other people need this too? So now you can show information that's stored in level meta output with the PMPro member shortcode. So I think it's in here. Where is it? I don't know where that's even showing Nova.
I will find both for you.
Where did I even add that? Oh, here. Okay. This is like in the member light theme, a custom thing. But if you see here, this PMPro member field equals display name. You can also now pull level meta information out of here. I think there's information stored in level meta for some of our add-ons. So when we update that documentation, we'll also try to call out some use cases for when you may be doing that and why. The biggest one was the, now I remembered, talking out loud, the membership account message. So this is Core Paid Memberships Pro. If you have a membership account message stored for the that specific level, let's say like click here. I'm going to make up a fake link here. All right. So if you have this membership account message, anyone that has that level, which level did I just set it as? Is it this one? Okay, group parent. I'm going to give myself the membership just to show it as a demo. I do have the membership. Okay. The information you put in that text area in the edit level settings will show up on the membership account page by default. But now we can pull that information and show it using the PMPro member shortcode. I'm pretty sure it's it might be this. I'm gonna this is a really bad guess. I'll have to look at the code.
It's not the documentation.
Really bad guess.
It's not
documentation. It's something like this. Don't do this. This didn't work. We tested it, and what Kim made up in her brain of what they would have done. Oh gosh, and I did this one too. I'm getting old, guys. I'm sure I can figure this out. Let's look. Looking at the code helps here. Let's see. Level meta. So I just need to get the actual value of it. What is it actually named as? Let's see. Let's find it. Is this exciting or membership account message? Is that what it's stored at? Maybe it's not prefixed. I was pretty close. Wait, let's look at the code one more time. Oh, level metal underscore. No. I'm going to get it. I'm like a person that can't let it go. Raise your hand if you're also a person that can't let it go. Not that. I wonder if it has to be prefixed. I thought you could put a level in it. Nope. All right. I won't belabor this anymore. String replace membership underscore. No, that's the other one. All right. One more try. I'm going to try this. Nope. All right. I give up. Someone on our team is watching and cringing. That's okay.
We'll definitely figure it out for the live
We'll
stream.
figure it out.
Or not for the live stream, but for the documentation, because the
Yes,
live stream
for
is
the
obviously not working.
Maybe we'll play with it if and no one comes to our launch party, but everyone's coming, right?
I hope everybody's coming.
This one is an under the hood thing. There's a list of countries in Paid Memberships Pro, and before it was set as a global variable. Now it's a pulled via function. We can get the default country, and then there's filters to change the append countries to the list if you are wanting to add a country that's not in the default list in Paid Memberships Pro, or to change the default country in your site. So functions that are being used, global variables are hard to trust. We're doing different caching things now. They're always having to global this variable, and we're trying to eliminate a lot of our usage of them where it makes sense, where they can be dynamically filtered. So a technical thing, but more to come on that, I'm sure. We added hooks to the subscription events. So certain people wanted to do custom functionality when a subscription was newly created, when a subscription was updated in the site. So now there's ways for developers to plug into those two events in the site when it's created at checkout, if it gets updated from a webhook response, and trigger some other thing to happen. So the act of getting membership is one thing. The act of receiving a subscription payment is another thing. The act of validating that a subscription is active or being canceled. People need to trigger other things to happen, like communicating with a third-party API or a third-party service. So 2 new hooks that are subscription related to build those communications in place. Let's see. These are some under the hood things. We talked about this. Added a new PMPro no download parameter to CSV exports to prevent downloading the CSV during toolkit tests. Oh, I don't know what that is. It sounds just like something related to our toolkit add-on that was triggering CSV downloads. So now this is maybe in unit testing. We lost Dale, so we can't know. Maybe he's in Slack watching and saying, Kim, it's this thing. We talked about our Stripe fees. Looks like there were some accessibility issues with the honeypot field on the checkout page. So Paid Memberships Pro has a number of security settings. Under the settings securities panel, you'll see some of them. There is also like a secret field for full name on checkout. It's the oldest way to do spam and security of that kind, and it's not as effective anymore. I think the bots that are trying to spam your checkout are smart enough to know not to fill out fields that say leave this blank. But it does still exist, and it was creating some, it was doing some things with our accessibility of our checkout page and reading things aloud that we repaired. But the real security protection you want to look at is this first box here. As many of these as possible, don't use both reCAPTCHA and turnstile, but having one of these CAPTCHAs on the site is very important, enabling our default spam protection. And if you're so inclined to leverage the Kismet service for validating if checkouts look like abuse when the users are created. I don't know any of what this means. I wish Get John was here, but it's cool. That's like our first in this list external contributor. So hats off to this person for seeing something, having the developer experience to go find us on GitHub and submit a pull request. Yeah, contributions welcome. A link to our GitHub repository is on that member dashboard. So if you're familiar with GitHub and interested to get involved and see what's what, you can check that out here. And then pull requests. This is people who've contributed to Paid Memberships Pro, faces you know and recognize that are here on this video and today and in our team, but lots of external contributors who've been a part of this journey. Look at us. Neat to see. All right. I don't know if anything here is worth big highlight.
Well, I mean, I think the rest is kind of like bug fixes and deprecations and stuff.
We talked about
I think
crumbs.
we can jump into your favorite thing ever
Page
and
builders?
talk about Bricks Builder and Elementor.
All right, let's look at it. I haven't looked at this yet, so this will be fun. So our Elementor integration. Elementor is the most used page builder with Paid Memberships Pro. We know a lot of you are using Elementor. And when we brought functionality to our content visibility settings for native WordPress block editor, those same flexibilities weren't brought into the Elementor integration. So let me just quick show the content visibility settings. So this, if you can see where I'm highlighted on here, this is our content visibility block. It comes for core Paid Memberships Pro. It's visible if you're using the WordPress block editor. Some people call this Gutenberg, but you can insert the block. And then in the sidebar here, you can control a lot of functionality here, whether the visibility rule is a hide or a show rule. And if it's membership level specific, showing to all members, or login status specific. And then you can also choose whether you show a standard no access message for the case that doesn't allow to see the content within this block wrapper. And the same true of the hide side, hiding it from specific memberships, from everyone with a membership level or based on login status. You can also add visibility to any core block. So you can enable it on just like a paragraph block. That same settings apply. People using Elementor didn't have the same flexibility in our Elementor content protections to show everything in all these ways. So I'm going to pretend I know how to use Elementor.
You do.
Let's just put something here and let's see. So I'm in the grid layout. Let's see if I'm allowed to put this here. Okay. So here's Paid Memberships Pro. Do you want to enable Paid Memberships Pro module visibility? This looks totally different than it used to look. So if I say, yes, I do, I can set those same rules, a show or a hide rule, and then specific levels by membership level or for all members. And I can do the hide and show rules. We don't have, oh, here, the show version has showing the, no, it doesn't have showing the content message, right? It doesn't have that. So this work was designed internally as make the page builders feature parity with the block editor versions. And it's not always possible, but what can we do to get the best version of what we've done in the block editor into the Elementor experience for you all? So we have show and hide content. We have membership level settings here. So I think people are going to really love this new ways to use Elementor to protect things. It does break backwards compatibility with the old way that content in Elementor was protected, but it migrates automatically when you begin a new editing experience, or they told me when the page is visited or loaded. So when the page is viewed, is anyone contradicting me? Sam, you call out if I'm saying things that aren't true. My understanding is that
so far you're right.
Okay.
And from my understanding, you're
just
right.
Not here.
Well.
That it will migrate automatically for you. So you won't have to change anything. The content will be protected as it was. And when it migrates to the new settings format, it'll mumbo jumbo, make it just work and give you the flexibility to protect things like this. So we'll see what we keep bringing. Parity is not possible for all of these to make them all function and work exactly the same, because the page builder themselves, the availability of hooking into them and customizing the things is all slightly different, but we're much closer in this iteration of visibility. I wonder if, I think it works on individual things like this too, right? Yeah. Oh, so I can show the no access message. Look, guys. So I must have been in something called a grid layout. And when you're in an individual element, like this heading here, I do have the ability to swap in a no access message. So probably something else related to Elementor and our ability to control things at different tiers. So when you get down to the individual elements in the page, you can swap in a no access message for people that don't meet the conditions of your show rule here.
Unless it changed, and it could have, because I don't know everything about the new update for Elementor, but if it did not change, you should be able to put the content restriction at the element, the container, and the widget level.
This one's not letting me. I did update.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's a widget and what's a element. What's this? I was in a grid layout. Now this is a, someone help us. What do they call these? Is this a widget? A container? Here's a container. Here's a grid. Okay. So you said the container level, Sam.
Yeah, element, container, and widget.
Here I am in a container.
And Craig in the comment says, can't we test on bricks? Guess what, Craig? It is next.
It's next. Can I be done with Elementor? I'm not seeing it on the container level.
You
but
can.
I'm seeing it on the element
No,
level.
you did see it on the container level. You're not seeing on, you don't, we don't have a widget though.
I don't have the ability to show the content.
Oh, you had it though.
Message.
Where'd it go? Well, maybe the content message is for the individual elements, but you can still restrict the entire container.
Yes, I could restrict it. All right. Do I even have, how do you get Bricks Builder?
I don't know, friend.
Is that in .org? Let's find it. Is it called Bricks or is it called something else? Is it premium? Is it a theme or is it a plugin?
Hold on, I have a link.
Okay.
Bricksbuilder.io.
Okay. Do we have a license for it? Does anyone want to come in and demo Bricks Builder with us?
Oh,
you buy off the site. Okay. Pay theme, you buy off the site and load it. Okay. Let me see if I have one internally.
Thank you, Craig.
It's a theme. Oh, maybe I have it. No, I don't see it. Sam, did you do a demo with Bricks when we did our video?
Did I
use Bricks originally? All right, I'm updating.
No,
I uploaded and activated Bricks. All right. This is just Kim who's never used Bricks before. This is our user testing of Bricks. All right, I'm just going to publish the page. Because this is a Bricks, I'm going to edit it. Oh, wait, that's Elementor. Let's deactivate Elementor so that we don't really confuse ourselves here. Do I need a plugin as well? So you don't like go into a Bricks editor, do you? Maybe we shouldn't have done this. This is going to be something we all look at. Oh, here, look. This doesn't look like what we have. Let's go to
Craig, if you're up for it, you can email us on our contact page and I can send you a link to join our live stream.
I did activate the Bricks. Maybe I didn't really activate it because I didn't put a welcome to Bricks. Enter your license. Okay. It wants me to put a license on it. Is that true? What if I don't? Do I have to? Bricks, getting started, settings, post types. Oh, it's only enabled on pages. I'm going to enable it on posts. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing because I went in another window in case I had it. Okay. Bricks was not enabled on posts. So that's probably why this one wasn't working. Look, edit with Bricks. It's not going to let me use it. It really likes me to have a license.
I wonder if
Well,
we
we
have a
can look
license
at
on P2. Let me look.
Yeah, try to find me one. But you can see here from the screenshots when the developer that completed this work did the work, that you can set up these conditions for brick things. It looks like these conditions are built on a button item. What are these? This is also a button. Does bricks have like the same context of like this wrapper element, this inner element? I would think. Here, what's this? I'm browsing through things. It's fun to unfold and explore 3.5 all together on this 2-hour live stream here, which is what we're doing. Sam's trying to message me if we have a special key.
I'm trying. I'm putting a call out to our support team.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, we'll find it. But it does look very similar to the Elementor, what we were doing, that there are these conditions that you can set. So I think what's cool about Bricks has a large community of people that are very interested in it and using it. We get asked about it a lot. So it's going to be cool when we can get more content out about the Bricks builder and how these protections are going to function for all of them. I'm on a weird view. Sorry, guys. Let me get back to the changelog. There we go. I enabled it for posts and pages, but it just because I don't have a license key, it's not letting me actually use it, which is a decision. We don't do that in Paid Memberships Pro. If your license key gets deactivated, if you ever had one, you have a premium add-on, let's say you got it off GitHub, it'll still work for you even if your license gets deactivated in the site. So we're not locking out features. If you have the code, you can use the code. That sound judgy? I didn't mean to.
Kim, I'm gonna Slack you.
Oh, okay. Look, guys, we're getting a license key. I pulled in another window so you guys don't see our license key.
Looks like you have to log into their site.
Oh.
But then, I mean, I'm going to send you this additional note that we have about them too, and you can decide what that means because I don't know what that means.
Okay. We're being very cloak and dagger right now.
Well, I just don't know. I don't want them to come after us of like, how dare you share this secret?
I see what you're talking about. All right.
I don't know what it means. I'm not a developer.
We're going to coding with Sam Hack Bricks Builder.
Thank you, Kim White. If you are still watching, we appreciate that.
Okay, I hacked it. I hacked it, guys. That's okay. That's how easy it is to bypass a license restriction. I think that you probably shouldn't even put one in your plugin. But that's my hot take, my spicy pepper for today. So let's build something in Bricks. And we've never done it before. And our friend Craig is helping us. I added something called a container. And I'm going to add a block. And okay, here's the block.
I'm going to have to watch this back so I can do the documentation. So make sure it's perfect.
I don't see it here. Let's see. Container. Section. No. I'm just adding blocks and blocks and blocks. All right. How can I add a button, do you think? Not settings. Elements? Oh, here, look. Okay. Post title.
Plus sign top left.
Okay. We got elements. We just don't have content protections yet. Am I selected in this? Okay. Content. Do I have to enable something like conditions? Look, guys. Okay, select a condition. We found it. Okay. Let's pretend we did a really good job and started from the beginning. Edit with bricks.
I believe in you.
How painful was that for all of you experienced people? Okay, here I am on the container, and I'm going to click this double toggly thing to add conditions. I'll click plus to add, and then here I can choose a lot of things. These are all default bricks. This is not Paid Memberships Pro. However, we have a new section, Paid Memberships Pro, hide from all members, specific membership levels, where we can show or hide, and then we can choose which levels to include here. So very similar to the other two, just the order of operations was slightly different. The conditions feature is a bricks feature. Our condition is membership level based. And then we can say all members, hide or show. We can say specific levels, hide or show, which ones. And then we still do have that logged in user status, which probably is also available. No. I wonder if with the bricks. Okay. I was wondering if that is redundant with the bricks user role. They don't really have like a login, do they? No, it's not. Okay. So it adds login or logout state functionality to bricks. And this one didn't seem to have that show the no access message. So what I always tell people to do is create a container with the inverse condition. So if your condition is show to all members, add a separate container, hide from all members, and put whatever you want there as your CTA if you wanted some other replacement for the contents that's being redacted because of membership level. So hopefully Bricks has some kind of a saved drop-in thing. And then you could have something that's a CTA that's reusable and you're not editing it in every place when the logic changes. Or if you want it customized to each experience, like, hey, if you were a Plus member, you'd be able to see this cool tool, or you'd be able to see the link to download and access this video, or join this event, watch this live stream recording. So really flexible, but also put some onus on you to create those CTAs. But that's what you're doing. You're using Bricks because you love getting in there and creating all those conditions and building it the way that you like it. So it'll work. Oh, plus sign top left. Has Kim had some Bricks experience? So we had to figure it out. If you've never used Bricks before, you have to activate it, tell it to work on posts, add your license key, and then find this conditions button, which wasn't too hard once we got there. But that was cool. It's the theme of a honeybee of Winnie the Pooh, the grays and yellows. Sam will like it.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I've never played with Bricks Builder though, so
no.
But I will be for our documentation. So.
Yes. I'm trying to find.
I will get all the screenshots and everything for you guys, and maybe a video.
Maybe a video. Talks about everything. Any questions? Or Sam and I can sit here for the remaining 23 minutes and make up things to talk about.
Well, we can, if you want to go to our live events page while people are thinking about their questions, we can talk about what's coming up because we've got a very busy July.
Yes.
So
I love this picture.
Okay, we had the event today. We have it's not on the site because it's exclusive to our Slack community, but at 3:30 Eastern, in literally like an hour, I think. Yeah.
Less than an hour. Make a snack.
We are going to be having a release after party. It is our regular community meetup that is scheduled for 3:30 today, but in light of the this live stream and the release, we're hosting an exclusive after party for the live stream, so you can actually come talk to Kim and I, maybe some other team members about 3.5. We get to meet you, you get to meet us, and all that.
You're not sick of us yet.
If you're not tired of us yapping. And then our next event is going to be Thursday. Jason's going to be coming on an open office hours, starting a series called Built on Values. So at Paid Memberships Pro, we have 5 different values. If I try to list them off, I will miss one, I promise. But the first one is we are human. And so Jason's going to be coming on talking about that value, what it means in our development, how he runs the company with the team that he has, And then also we're going to demo some different tools and features and like, how much we bring in AI to still keep us as humans. And that's going to be really fun. But he's going to it's a 5-part series. Thursday will be the first one. And then we'll touch on purposeful work, responsibility, respect, and open source. So those are going to be the 5. And then Friday we have Coding with Sam. And if you're not familiar with Coding with Sam, that is where I, not a developer, come on live on YouTube for about 15-20 minutes. I think the shortest one we've ever had was like literally 10 minutes stream. Like, I mean, we keep them like super quick. But I show you a way that you can customize your membership site using a code snippet. Sometimes it's drop in the code. Sometimes we do adjust the code. So there is a little bit of a learning aspect there. But so that's going to be on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then, we will have another community meetup coming up at the end of the month. And there's also more open office hours too. There's only one quiet week in July.
Ooh.
We should try to fix that. I'm just kidding.
Maybe we will.
You never know.
You never know. We try to schedule these. A spontaneous go live has not happened recently.
I mean, this was almost
Kind of
spontaneous.
Yes.
This one was close. Well, I'm not seeing any questions come in, so I guess we can wrap this one up a little early and give us a bigger break before the after party.
I got my party hat. No.
I don't have a party hat because I had to leave my house really, really fast.
Sorry.
To get here. It's been a crazy day.
Ugh.
But yeah, so I guess we can wrap this up early. I hope that if you are not in our Slack community, but you're interested in joining the after party, that you do join our Slack. I will put that link in there again. Oh, I am typing some weird things on my computer.
Yeah, if you aren't in the community, you'll see a page like this. Or if you're not logged into your free account. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it's a free community to join. You'll just have to have a free account here, and then you'll get a link to authenticate yourself and connect in that community. If you don't know what Slack is, it's just like a chat app, basically. You can access it on this thing that's always in your face, or you can access it web-based or on your computers directly. But it's cool. It's pretty vibrant. Plays over 1,000 people at this point, right?
Yeah, we're getting really close to over 1,100. Like we're really, really close. So who knows?
Really,
maybe
collaborative.
You could be the 1,100th member into the community.
Yes. We will put happy emojis on your welcome message. That is your prize. We do that for everyone. We'll put extra happy emojis on your welcome message. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So cool. Bear with us, updating the 3.5 documentation, updating the 3.5 release post. We did send our June recap and it mentioned the release candidate. We'll send another email maybe early next week when we're pretty confident that the documentation and the blog post itself have everything you need. So you're not wasting time going to that post waiting for it to come up to date for you. And yeah. So far, everything's been really quiet with this release. I know in our community, some people had concerns because it is a major or a minor release. So it's not just a little bit of a maintenance. There is things that happen on update. That action scheduler swapped out for crons. So there are concerns that people had with an update of this magnitude. But I can assure you there's been, I think the only support that's come up is the conflict with people, other plugins using legacy action scheduler versions and it not being visible in that area, which doesn't mean it's a terrible thing. I think it just means you can't access it, but the processes are still functioning in your site. So yeah, I feel really confident in this one. It's been live on our site for a couple weeks now. We always run the leading edge.
Just if you could go ahead and knock on wood for our support team, please, that you said that it's been quiet.
I don't know if that's wood. What's wood in here? Everything's plastic.
Well, that's why I was just, your head.
Oh, nice. It feels like wood right now. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to I mean, yes, if you have a problem, please reach out to our support team, but we do not want to put bad juju in the air for our support team.
Nope. Your husband's from Louisiana. He knows all about juju. We got to be
He
good.
really does, yeah. You don't mess with the voodoo king.
Don't mess with that. No. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This was a long stream, and look at how many people still with us. That's pretty cool. And we'll see you in,
It's awesome.
I don't know, 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you in the community.